Hey everybody, if you're watching this at a later time, then this is a live stream Q&A, stumbling already. And if people don't join and start asking questions by a certain time, I'll put uh, something in the description to show you like what time the questions really start, because sometimes it takes time for people to pour in. So yeah. I'm actually gonna go post on my Instagram real quick, so the video might give out for a second. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I guess I'll just get my fucking computer while I'm waiting. Do 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 do. Let me go upside down. Oh no, that doesn't work either. Do 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 do. I guess I gotta hold my fucking camera. Do 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 do. I'm gonna fix this thumbnail. Do 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 do. Thumbnail, change, pictures, file is larger than your mom. It's not the right dimensions. Boo doo doo doo. Oh, that works. That works. Let's use that one. Yeah, I could use that as my banner. Customize channel. Branding, banner image. Let's try that. Nah. Don't you fucking dare. Oh, people are here. Sweet titties. Nah. Don't you dare eat. Try to eat. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's the pixel? 2048 by 1152. Nah. Stop it. Nope, it's not your food. Hello. How are you? Just fixing the banner on my YouTube page. If you want to ask any questions, feel free. Okay, here we go. How many megabytes is that? Oh, Jesus. What did I just do? Properties, 13 megabytes. Holy Jesus. Okay, let's resize it. Do. 2048 by 1152. What? I guess I will. Hello, people. I guess I'll try this. Plus project custom size. Oh, here we go. 2048. Oh, 1152? Such a weird fucking dimension. Okay. Pixels, yeah. The custom. Choose image. Cool. Download JPG. See how big it is. Publish. Doesn't even fucking make any sense. Change. What? Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. Hello, people. Welcome to my channel. Sweet titties. Hello, Kobe1, Bonobi, Bobby. Hobie, Bobby. Kobe. Obi-Wan, Bobobi. Saw you were live. Hello. Welcome to the live. Hope you're alive. You're doing well. Watching the video you sent me just oh! Hey, what's up, man? I know who this be. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely enjoy that video. It'll definitely help a lot with what we talked about. Very, very, very important. I guess I'll just start lecturing. I mean, if I'm going to be here for an hour, fucking hell. So, I guess I'll kind of talk about what we were talking about in our coaching call. Oh, here we go. Here's a question. How do you feel about your YouTube career so far? Disappointing. Disappointing. Yeah, so with the Girls Chase channel, what happened was last year I tried to move to shorts, and that was maybe not the best move. It succeeded on TikTok. We got like 60,000 followers, but none of them actually translated to customers. We got like no sales of my texting book from those 60,000. So, having a lot of followers and a lot of subscribers and views does not actually translate to money, right? You can have someone with a lot of followers and they don't think they don't get a lot of they actually probably don't make as much money as you think they do. That's why they do advertisements, right? But I'm actually selling a service, right? So that's what's unique about me. So I do have a higher skill, or I have a higher potential of earning. But YouTube actually did pretty well for sales, whereas TikTok didn't. But my mistake was switching to shorts last year and completely abandoning the long form content. So that's why I'm going back to long form content. And the views actually aren't as horrible as you think they are, right? They're not like viral, but they're actually, I see other channels with like much bigger numbers, and they have, let's see. I'm not going to tell you who I'm looking up, but just, all right, let's see. Let's see what kind of numbers you guys are pulling. Okay. These ones are definitely kicking my butt. They're around like, they're pretty good. Okay. Yeah, so my views suck compared to these. Let's see. Okay, this guy, his views are shitty, much shittier than the other guy who has less, 50K less. Yeah, so, considering I have 27K on YouTube, well, long story short, I'm probably, your stream is stuttering sometimes, is it? Are the other people seeing the frames dropping? It's fine for me. Huh. Maybe. No lag here. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Are you doing okay financially? I was struggling a bit last year. But that was largely because I was going through my anxiety. So I was like never working and I was basically losing my mind. So I kind of scraped by last year. Actually doing better now. I'm doing better now that I'm working on my own, because if a client wants to do coaching, I get 100% of it, which is very nice. And I've actually had people just kind of come out of the woodwork that want to do coaching. So working for myself is actually, it's actually making me and I have some other work going on with Chase too. That so actually, I'm about to probably take a leap up. So things were rough for a while, but they're starting to pick up, which is nice. But I'm not killing it by any means. I'm very, I would say upper lower class. I'll just be transparent, I guess. I've always been very open. My best year ever was 50K. That was back in 2020, because when we launched Meet Girls Everywhere, I made a decent chunk of change. And then I invested like 5K in crypto and lost like 3K. I didn't lose too much. So I ended up, but I lost like 3K, and then I invested like 7K into my house in Ukraine, but that turned out to not be a good investment. Well, You know, who knows for the future, but we're not going to live there anymore, so kind of a silly use of 7K, but and then obviously having to run from Ukraine, and kind of just like buy a bunch of new shit, figure out my immigration. I mean, that cost me a couple grand, and you know, get a new computer and da 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 da. You know, I kind of got fucked by circumstances, but it's my karma. So, no complaining here. But yeah, things are rough. Things are starting to pick up though. So I could go into all the details, but I'm sure you don't. You don't want to hear my bookkeeping. But things are getting better. Once I get my website up, I think I want to start trying some advertisements, and maybe that could drive some sales. But I want to rewrite my college book, and I feel bad about selling my college book now, because I think that there's a lot in it that needs to be rewritten. So I have a little bit of like an ethical block. So I think what I'm going to do is just focus on selling Meet Girls Everywhere in my texting book, and then rewrite my my college book to be kind of more in line ethically and kind of more clear about some of the things that maybe I actually understand better now in retrospect. And then I'll release it 2.0, my college book, the second edition, you know. So Meet Girls Everywhere in my texting book. I think if I can start doing some advertising, you know, could do pretty well. But I gotta get my website up, and I got a friend doing it for me, but it's taking longer than usual. But that's life, right? So, anyways, I guess we'll have a lesson that is about that's related to conversations I was having with a client today, and it's basically about women are attracted to sex and sexual men, right? Now that sounds like a stupid statement, like women are attracted to sex, obviously, duh. But you need to ask yourself, what is it about sex with you that's different? Why do they want sex with you, right? Women want sex. That's clear. Women love sex, right? So that's the first thing you need to understand. The second thing is, well, why would a woman choose to have sex with you? Well, it's the same reason why guys want to be friends with you. They're usually pretty similar things. When men see qualities inside of you that they themselves want to have, they're going to spend time with you because they want to adopt those qualities. They love those qualities. So by spending time around you, they're going to absorb those qualities. Because it does happen, you know, you become the people you spend time with. So you spend time with these people and you start to become them. Well, women also do the same thing. They see a guy that they want to spend time with, and they're going to want to be around you. But a woman has a different reaction to respect. When women respect a man, they get turned on by him. And when women get turned on by a man, they respect him. It's a interdependent thing, right? When women love you, they respect you. When they respect you, they get turned on by you. When they get turned on by you, they love you and they respect you. You can enter attraction to women through either of the gates of love, arousal, or respect. And the one that a lot of men actually struggle with, this is the one that all the red pill is trying to figure out. Which is, you know, be a tough man, be a high value man, blah, blah, blah. What they're basically just saying is they want to get respect from women. But they go about it with they take a sledgehammer to a hammer problem, right? So there's a nail that they need to put into the plank, you know, a stud that they have to put into the drywall or the backboard of the drywall or whatever the fuck ever. And their idea of going to drive that nail into the board is to take a sledgehammer. So they're like, yeah, be an asshole, fuck bitches, be on your grind, raw. And it's like, I mean, that's a natural reaction. You overcorrect. It's fine, you know. It's just not, it's not the efficient method. The efficient method is to figure out what it actually means to be respected. And what I was going over with this client was basically he's having trouble with attraction. And I gave him one option was to become more sexual and think sexual thoughts. But then that was only half the equation, right? So women are attracted to sex, so why are they going to be attracted to you? Well, they're going to be attracted to you because you either come off sexually, so what happens is you spark their arousal, and then they'll respect you for that. Or you can go after arousal and respect, right? So it's a better bet to go after two of these gates. So you go after respect by being hard. And I actually made a joke, like being hard with women, there's an interesting use of that word. Like when your dick gets hard, it's strong, right? And it penetrates her. Well, respect is very similar, right? Respect is being hard. So what does it mean to be respectable? Well, pretty much there's two ways to get respect. One is your willingness to endure pain, right? So when we see people in high positions that are worthy of respect, pretty much what we are admiring in them is that they probably went through a lot of shit to get there. You know, someone becomes a king. Well, you know, he probably had to do a lot of shit to get there or to maintain his kingdom, you know. Or someone becomes wealthy. Well, he probably had to do a lot of shit. Now, of course, that's not always true. Like people can get rich and get successful through illegal means or through shitty practices, right? But then we respect them because they're rich. But that's a mistake. And it's a very common mistake these days. But on the surface, we respect them because they endured a lot of pain. They endured a lot of shit. And they have something worthy of respect. So I guess maybe it's three different respects. One respect is they have something worth respecting. They're rich, they're successful, whatever. They're really smart, like you respect their intelligence. And then they can endure a lot of pain. Like someone who can take a lot of shit and deal with it, you just go, damn, that person's hard. Like, you know, kind of like that David Goggins shit, like stay hard. That's worthy of respect, right? And then there's a third level of respect, which is just the fact that they expect respect, right? They don't put up with disrespect, and they go. It's not only about dealing with disrespect because that's kind of easy to understand. Like my client said, yeah, I can understand the situations where, you know, someone steps over the bounds and you say, hey, you know, I don't appreciate that. That's one level, but there's another level where you just walk around and you expect people to respect you, and people respect that. People respect someone who expects respect because that demonstrates a certain level of the fact that they're willing to do that. Like the fact that they're willing to stand up and give it a try is respectable. So the willingness to actually attempt to like put yourself out there is like, I'm worth respecting. So you walk around with that attitude is respectable. Now you have to actually back it up with your actions because people are going to test it. Women and men are going to test it. So that's how you become sexually attractive to women. So that's what this client, you know, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah, but that's such a that's something that you put into a book when you don't understand it completely. That's the problem with a lot of these teachers is that they just come up with these titles like no more Mr. Nice Guy, da 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 da. But you got to explain these things with some level of love. Oh shit, there we go. With some level of realness, right? And I feel like a lot of these people who promote these ideas, they don't actually live the life, right? You got to live the life. So you got to start becoming respectable. And part of that is having this attitude of hardness. And the client was confused because he was like, well, what are some physical ways I can do that? It's like, well, I can tell you to be stoic with your face. But then people are like, okay, I'm just going to be stoic and walk around like, right? But you've seen those guys before. They walk around like, and what's your first inclination about these people? Oh, this guy thinks he's so tough. And there's a truth in that because you can tell it's an act. Like, part of you is like, you're putting on an act. Now, but a part of you too will kind of be like, but I'm not going to fuck with him because I'm not going to take the chance. But you shouldn't want to fuck with anyone in the first place. So it's kind of like he's putting out too much energy for such little reward. Like there's nothing like I have another client who actually has problems where he runs into people and has like he gets in a lot of shit a lot of times. And like people just like get disrespectful with him and get angry around him. And you want to know why? Because he walks around with a chip on his shoulder. So I have a client who has the exact opposite problem, right? His problem is not that people they don't feel threatened like in a, oh, he's so threatening kind of way. They feel threatened because he puts off aggressive energy, right? So if you put off aggressive energy, there's going to be a resistance effect that it's going to have on people. But he's not getting laid, right? So this is what happens with a lot of the guys who probably run into Red Pill. They're like, okay, I'm going to... And then they don't get any pussy, right? But they think they're being men, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm so tough. But some people get pussy, but they misattribute it. They're like, yeah, I'm getting laid because I'm a man now. It's like, no. You needed that particular prescription, and it worked for you. But, so many other guys, they tried that prescription, and it didn't work. Because there's nuance to it. You only have to take the respect part. You don't have to take all the extra fucking shit that comes with that dumbass attitude, right? So walk around expecting respect, but be a nice guy. So how I expected, or how I explained it to the guy was, you walk around, and you kind of just like, you do need to try at first some basics, like just try to be more stoic. But then if you see a pretty girl, you go, oh hey, wow, you're so pretty. What's your name? Da da da. Okay. Nice guy. Oh, she's like, oh, okay, cool. Da, 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 da. But then as the conversation goes on, yeah. Don't be too easy to please. Don't be too easy to, don't be so quick to don't be too easy to get. But that doesn't mean you play hard to get. That just means that your energy comes off a little bit less, like, you can demonstrate a world of a difference to a woman between reacting slightly more, like, oh, hey, that's so funny, huh? And then just going, ha, that's funny. It's a slight change, but it really does actually have a greater effect on how she perceives you. But that's how you start off. Then you start learning the nuances of it. Could you share examples of how people test you on your respectability? They usually test it passively. Like, they don't even know what they're doing, right? Like, they don't know that they are actually testing your respectability. So, like, if you're telling a story and someone's not paying attention, and you say, hey, are you paying attention? Whoa! That would be, like, they just start drifting on. Be like, hey, are you paying attention? And you could say, be like, if this is boring for you, that's fine. And they're like, oh, no, it's okay. And then it's like, no, don't worry. I'll finish the story another time. They're like, no, seriously, finish it. Be like, no, it's okay. I can tell you weren't paying attention. You don't have to be polite. That's a really high value way of being that. Because what you're basically just saying is like, I get it, you weren't really enjoying, but I'm not going to waste my breath telling you a story that you don't want to hear. Right? It's very powerful. So people passively it's not always so obvious. They're not going to be like, I don't respect you, right? It's just, they're gonna flake on you. They're gonna be late. right? Flaking, lateness, that's disrespect. Or when people tell you things, like what we talked about in our call, Kobe, like people are going to tell you like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm busy, da da da. But then you see on Instagram they're hanging out with other people. That's disrespect. They're testing your respect, not even knowingly. Like they don't know what they're doing. They're just like following their desires. But you need to see it as disrespect. Okay, cool. You should take it personally. Oh, don't take it personally. It's literally personal. It's like it's the most personal thing ever. I don't want to hang out with you, and I'd rather hang out with other people. Because I've had people tell me that before. You fall out with friends and da da da, and someone says it wasn't personal. What? What do you mean it wasn't personal? It was quite literally personal. Stop believing people's shit. Like I have a friend he's a former client, but we're pretty cool, and he's like he has this girlfriend who's kind of still has feelings about her ex, and then they started to get serious, and then they were about to move in together, and she's like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to move to that level. I feel like I need closure with my ex. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, what is that? Well, I'm responding this way, like, he's a little bit nicer. I'm like, what does it mean I need closure? I'm like, does it mean that she needs to have lunch and have a conversation with him, or a conversation to figure out what? He's like, well, she kind of wants him in his life. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, oh yeah, also, she doesn't want to have sex for a year. And I'm like, because it's too personal or too intimate. And I'm like, this all sounds horrible. And he's like, yeah, but he didn't grasp to what extent it's horrible, right? And some of you might be like, yeah, that is horrible. But if you were in a similar situation, I bet. See, here's the thing. When it comes to external situations, everyone's like, yeah, this sounds horrible. But when you're in it, everyone's a bitch, right? Everyone's like, yeah, well, this thing or this thing or this thing. Like I have clients who have who are with girlfriends, not this one, different ones. These girls are definitely not good for the relationship. And I tell them that, but I'm like, hey, look, just so you know, this is not a good relationship, but I'll help you with it. And then they have all these problems. And I'm like, I'm sure if you had a friend who was in a similar situation, you would be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? But because you're in it, it's totally different, right? Oh, but what about this exception? We always make exceptions for our situations, right? But when we see something from a third person perspective, it's always very clear. But I told this guy, I'm like, you're being disrespected. Like she's literally like you're making a decision to move in with her, and then she's like, oh, never mind. And then she wants closure with her ex. What does that even mean? It's the same thing as when a girl says, or someone says, it's not personal. It's like, yes, it is. So I want closure with my ex. Well, what does that mean? Well, I don't know. No, it's very clear what you mean. It means you're still not over them. Oh, well, no. That's what it means, is you're not over them. For some reason, I wasn't able to fully pull you out of that. And it sucks. It's horrible. But it's not okay. It's disrespectful. And you need to tell that person. So like in his case, I told him, you need to give this chick a little bit of an ultimatum. Like, look, things need to be made clear very quickly, or I'm not going to stick around. This isn't cool. So people usually test your respectability passively. Like it's not like they step over a line. It's just they do something. They're late. They flake. That's a common one. They tell you one thing and then they don't follow through with it. Or they don't give you the same level. I had a former client do this with me recently. And we've known each other over the years, and he's helped me out with some stuff, and I've paid him for it. I paid him to format my college book with coaching. But over the years, we've hung out a few times. But I think in his mind, he always wanted me to be his friend, but I never really saw him as a friend. I mean, he was a cool guy, but I never really viewed him as like a friend. And he sent me an email recently telling me how disappointed he was. And from his perspective, he should, maybe he is putting in all this effort and I'm not reciprocating. And that's fine. He shouldn't see me as a friend, right? But from my perspective, I didn't see him as a friend. So I guess if you want to look at it from his perspective, I was kind of disrespecting him. But it wasn't like I wasn't crossing any boundaries. So maybe this wouldn't even be, this is not disrespect. It's just a lack of respect on a certain level. So there's a distinction. Here we go. There's a distinction between disrespect and respectability, because on some level I didn't see this guy worthy as I didn't see him as respectable enough to be my friend, to be completely honest, right? It is personal, right? And I did tell him, I said partially I just don't really want a lot of friends, which is true. But I did tell him, I just never really saw you as a friend because of this and this and this. So I didn't sugarcoat it too much. So there's a difference between someone disrespecting you. That means they step over a boundary. Then there's just a lack of respectability. Someone doesn't actively disrespect you, but they do. I'm going to write that down. Let me see. Can I write in here? Live chat. Save, highlight. I'll write it down. I want to make a video on it. It's actually pretty cool. It's a great distinction. Respectability versus disrespect. So respectability is, you're just not really, you're not on that level. Like, I don't see you as someone worthy of my respect. Everyone should be worthy of your respect on the basic level of they are a being who has a right to exist and who has a right to live their life. And you shouldn't hurt them. That's basic respect that you should have for all beings. Animals, people, everything. But then there's another level of respect that you and I understand as respect, which is, yeah, I respect you as a being and I'm not going to hurt you, but, I really don't think you're that amazing of a person, so I don't respect you. That's one level of respect. And you can not have that respect for them, but you can also choose not to disrespect them. Which you should. You shouldn't disrespect anybody. But it doesn't mean you have to have respect for everyone. Don't disrespect everyone. Have respect for everyone. But you don't need to respect everyone. Do you see the distinction? Is getting an outside opinion the best solution to see reality in those situations? Only if you respect them on that level. You can't just ask anyone. You can't just ask anyone for the truth. Some people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Some people are fucking stupid. So you need to make sure they actually know what they're talking about. Hector, do you think it's okay to text her after a couple of months and see if she is up to go on a date? Sure, why not? Go for it. The only reason you don't want to do that is for your ego. Now, if you got straight up rejected by a chick, then yeah, it's a waste of time. It depends on why it's taking so long. Or why, like what happened? Were you guys chatting and then she just kind of dropped off? Okay, sure, why not? Did you ask her out and she's like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Well, okay, then yeah, don't follow up with her in a month. Nothing's going to fucking change. So yeah, that's my talk on respect. You need to become more respectable. You have to have something worthy of respect. So you either have to, but it's not just about achieving something respectable, because that's another like shortcut that guys try to have. Well, it's not even a shortcut. It's just not the right thing. Like guys are like, oh, I'm gonna, It's the Jeff Bezos approach, right? I'm going to become a billionaire. Yeah. Okay. But it still doesn't mean you're respectable as a lover. Having love or respect is something completely different. You can have a guy who's a billionaire and he's still whipped by his wife. I had a conversation with a client about this actually. Dragon mothers, or what are they called? Tiger moms. Like Chinese families where the woman like takes charge. Super important. Super important to understand is like a, because he's Chinese. And it's kind of like these dads are just whipped by the mother, right? And then the entire household is controlled by her. So that guy could maybe be super successful, maybe is respected at his work, but is he respected at home? No, then it doesn't matter. We're talking specifically, we're not talking about, I'm going to be a high value man, I would not want to be Jeff Bezos. Nothing about Jeff Bezos' situation is even remotely attractive. First of all, I don't need that much fucking money, Jesus Christ. Well, I would want some of the money, like not a billion, Jesus, or whatever, like, million would be fine. But everything else that goes with it, right? His personality, like, no. But, well, I don't know the guy personally, right? So maybe I shouldn't speak about people I don't know personally. But let's just say, theoretically, let's just take a theoretical, someone who's super successful, is respectable in a lot of ways, but then doesn't, isn't respected by his girl on that level. Like, she doesn't, like, get wet thinking about him. Like, when they're making out, when they're kissing in the car, she doesn't want to unzip his pants and, like, choke on his dick, right? So, like, the Tiger Mom example, it's like, you got to have respect from the woman on a woman-to-man level. Oh, no. Asked her out in Texas and she couldn't make it this weekend, but I'll let you know next week. Then in order to build comfort, I commented on her pic was a cute child, and then I asked her, is that you from your childhood? And then she did not read my text. If a girl says, I'll let you know, you shouldn't, build up comfort. You should have just like relaxed on that. Oh, no. But yeah, if you want to follow up, sure. Hey, going to be taking a job as a fashion photographer, and I will be surrounded by these hot chicks. So any tips on authority game? And not harm my reputation. I think if you're starting off, you should play it safe. Like, for the first while, you need to get some experience, right? You need to get comfortable with the situation and just focus on your job. And what happens is it's actually going to probably make them flirt with you more. Because most guys who probably do get into this job are like, oh, I want to get some pussy. And then they start acting weird. But if you just focus on the job, it's probably actually more likely to make them attracted to you. And if they, like, throw themselves at you, then take it. But, like, don't force it, right? Like, don't try to pick up any of these girls. I would say for the first, like, 3 to 6 months, for the first 3 to 6 months, I think you should just focus on the job. And just flirt, right? Just flirt. Just be nice. Just have normal conversations and see how being... The way you learn authority game is see how being in authority gets attraction. And start observing it. And then you're going to have to learn what's the difference between genuine flirting and her just trying to suck up to, like, she wants to get in good with the photographers. Good. My grandpa died. What do I do? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know. This is a dating channel. I mean, part of me thinks you're trolling. You just got in here and wanted to start trolling. But that's because I'm jaded from the internet. If you're genuinely telling me like your grandpa died, I'm sorry. I hope he has a good rebirth. It's okay. I never met him, so. Oh, you didn't know it's a dating channel? My grandpa actually died. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. You know, it's the internet. You know, a lot of people like, you know, we get. I've been trolled a lot of times, so my first reaction is that I'm getting trolled. But I hope your grandfather has a good rebirth and that he's happy in his next life. Um, and, well, you thought it was a good advice place. Well, I do have thoughts on this with regards to Buddhism. You know, I'm a Buddhist, but this isn't the location where I would give that advice. But I would just say, you know, um, start reflecting on what death means. You know, what do you believe happens? Because it's a good moment to think about it. You should do videos on karma. Yeah, you know, I'll do Buddhism videos. I'll do them down the road, but I have too much. I'm focusing first on my own journey, right? I don't really have a lot of time to teach too many people, and I gotta get my financial situation under wraps first. But then eventually I'll make a dating channel or a Buddhism channel and kind of help people learn things. I'm moving back to the U.S. in a couple months, actually. Couple months. And then I'm going to try and settle in there and then just really buckle down. I don't live in the U.S. I live in Brazil. Oh, cool, man. I'm gonna go to the Midwest. How will I know if it's genuine flirting and flirting for work? Yeah, you need experience. I mean, the only way is you test it, right? So a girl flirts with you and then you try something with her. You know, you ask her out, you get asked for her phone number, and then she actually hangs out with you. Ever traveled to Japan? No. No. I've never been to Asia. Never been to Asia. I've always wanted Japan and Korea. I find the girls very pretty. But I never really had the money to do that. Japan would be extremely expensive. Probably Korea too. No. And I prefer Eastern European girls. I mean, I think Asian girls are really pretty. I think, you know, I think there's pretty girls in every culture. But my preference was always Eastern European girls. South or North Korea. That's funny. Did you have a routine, tricks before you went out to day game, like music? I would do, did I ever? No, not really. I would usually do routines when I get back from like a night out or like doing day game. Then I would listen to motivational videos, right? Just to get me back and then get some energy. Would I watch them before, like motivational videos? No, it's usually always after. Usually I would have motivational videos after I have a bad night. That's when I would need motivation. I wouldn't need too much motivation before. I mean, I guess a few times I would listen to music. Before I would go out at night, I would have like fun, you know, drinking, listening to music, da da da. But I wouldn't advise that. Well, Peva, I said it's funny because why would I want to go to North Korea? I really don't know if I'm getting trolled here or not. This is either really sophisticated trolling or you're a bit younger. But I would go to South Korea because North Korea I would get arrested very quickly. I probably wouldn't even be allowed in as an American. What country would I want to visit? Yeah, just South Korea or Japan. I really have no interest in. Well, the only other country I have interest in is Thailand, but that's because of the Buddhist monasteries there. That's the only reason I would go to Asia at this point because you know I'm not really looking for girls anymore. So, Japan and Korea really wouldn't have any. I don't really give a shit about. I mean, the architecture and da da da. It's all nice, but it the women draw my interest more. You know, I don't give a shit about the architecture. India, no, India is not the place for Buddhism anymore. I'm not really a pilgrimage kind of guy. Like, I don't want to go see the Bodh Gaya tree. Like, it's not like a big deal for me. It's just not my thing. But Buddhism is not very, it's not, India is not the place for Buddhism anymore. It's where it started. Well, technically, well, yeah, it was India at that time. It was technically in Nepal, where Nepal is now, but it was India. But no, not India. Thailand. That's where the real Buddhism is right now. Well, you could try motivational videos. I like heavy metal, but that might put you too much of an angry mood. Like maybe some like good EDM, like fun. I need quick dating advice. Sure. Go ahead. Can you see my texts above? No, I think if you tried to show some screenshots, maybe they didn't show. I don't think you can show images in a YouTube chat. I think it probably filters them, I'm guessing. There's this cute boy at my school that I have a crush on. How old are you? I don't think I can. Am I allowed to give a high school girl advice? I don't even know if this is legal. 13. Yeah, you're a little bit young for me to be giving you advice, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, as a human being, I just want to give you some advice, but I don't know. It's kind of awkward. The age and everything. Yeah, yeah. I think you might be a little bit young for me to give you some advice. Poo. Just be honest with your feelings. I think that's a universal good advice that anybody can give anybody, you know. Just be honest with your feelings. I think that's good general human advice. Obviously, dating is more complicated than that. Because if it was that easy, everyone would be, yeah, yeah. Also, some of the stuff I'm about to talk about is probably a bit mature, a bit too mature for you. So, yeah. Is authority game the same as social game? You're very welcome. I was asking if girls. This is weird. Now I think I might have to block this girl from the. Just for like ethical reasons, Pava. I think I have to move you from the chat. I wish you all the best of luck, but I think I need to. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I moved her from the chat. I think it's a bit. I just to be safe. Okay. So, I feel bad. It's like some kid running into like just walking into a bar, and you're just like, sorry, you can't be here. Okay. Is authority game the same as the social game? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Like authority is the same everywhere. It's social circle stuff, right? It's like you're in a position of authority within an environment where this is important to them, right? If you're the cool guy at the volleyball meetup every Friday, that's authority game, right? It's high status position game, right? It's social circle game. So yeah, it's the same thing. Your reputation is important, right? So I would just focus on building your reputation first. And what this is going to do is girls are just going to chase after you, and they're going to see you're not thirsty, and that's going to make them more attracted. You can flirt back, though. Flirt back, but don't ask them out. That's the key. Flirt back, but don't ask out. Unless, like, this girl just makes it ridiculously obvious, right? So I was asking if girls enjoy intercourse, even if they won't be able to come. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Every time you fuck her, she doesn't have to come. I mean, it's ideal. But girls enjoy the experience more than that men do. But I mean, ideally, you make her come, duh. I've noticed that you become very calm over the last couple of years. It's positive. Yeah, because I'm getting rid of all that anger that's inside of me. There was a lot of anger, my friend, a lot of anger, but I worked through it. I mean, there's still some there, right? If I didn't have anger, I would be an anagami, which means you're the third stage of enlightenment. So clearly, I still do have anger, but I'm working on it. I'm working on eliminating it. But I'm glad that it's visible. That's good. That means I'm doing something right. What's up, Hector? What up, John? How are you, buddy? Do I need to suffer to become a man? Yes. There's no free lunch. Let's think of it this way. There's no free lunch. You always got to pay a price. But I don't want you to think of it as, oh, I gotta suffer. Stoic motivational video. Suffering is good. Embrace it. Like. It's I don't think you have to be so dramatic about it. That's the problem with the guys you're watching right now, John. Like the big YouTubers that you told me about that you watch. I don't want to name them because I don't want to shit talk at all. But you know who I'm talking about. Like all these big. They're very dramatic, but they're all younger. Right? They're all in their early 20s or 30s. Right? They're all very young. Usually, when you're at that age, me included, I understand. Like you're very dramatic and poetic about things. Like we are suffering. I mean, just look at Marcus Aurelius and all these famous. Like they were quite dramatic. That level of drama is for me a little bit unnecessary. Even though I've given into it myself, I think you should just tone down the drama. There's no such thing as free lunch. That's it. It's very simple. If you want to achieve things, you have to pay the price, and that price can come in different ways. It can be in pain. It can be in time. It can be in money. It can be in energy. Don't just think of it as like suffering makes men. You can become a very strong man, but you can avoid a lot of suffering by just learning your lessons. Any tips on how to work anger? It seems like you need to start a boozing channel. Yeah. Short version, you have to feel the anger and you have to understand where the anger is coming from. You don't get rid of anger. You have to discipline the anger. You don't just let it have free reign, but you also have to understand it. So to a certain extent, you actually have to let it be there and let it course through you. And then you have to trace back where the anger is coming from, because the anger has a source. And the source of every single anger, from the smallest annoyance to like really, anger, like bad anger, right? That makes you do horrible things. Nana, get down. 1 second. See, I get angry at my cat, right? I got angry at my cat because she's doing something I don't like. At the end of the day, anger is simply, I don't like this. I don't like this situation. I don't like this feeling. I don't like this person. I don't like this pain. And you rebel against it. That's anger. So if you want to completely eradicate anger, you have to be okay with everything. But that's a very long process. I would suggest going to YouTube Forrest Dama Talks. Or just look up John Martin, Ajahn. John, it's like a title. It means like in teacher in Thai. Nana! Stop it. Martin, Martin. He's this German guy, but he lives in Thailand and he studied under an enlightened monk. He's my teacher. I talk to him every month on Zoom chats. He does. You can actually see me there. Every month they post a Zoom video call, and I'm in there for the past 3 months asking questions. If you see the one from February, you can see me cry. But he's very good. He knows his shit. Okay, so we're running out of time. I'll answer these last 2 questions. Could you please type it in the chat? I can't type on this for some reason. I'm on my phone. I don't know. Oh, let me pull it up on mine. 1 second. 1 second. I'll type it in here. There you go. I posted it. Any tips on how to friend zone women without causing resentment on their ends? It's pretty hard. It's I would say the first time they asked you out, I think just do a light brush. Be like, "Hey, I appreciate it. You're really nice, but I'm not interested." You could just be honest. Actually, it's probably the best bet. It's cruel to be friends with the girl who asks you out. So you reject her. She continues to want to talk to you. I mean, there's some ethical dilemmas that you have to consider. It's like, all right, well, if I continue to have her hang around and I know she's interested in me, I'm kind of torturing her, aren't I? Well, I guess I should have phrased it. Does suffering make you into more of a man? Your points from cold versus hard. Make you more of a man. Suffering can make you more of a man if you transmute it. Yes. Yes, it can. Yes. It can make you tougher. Yeah, it definitely can. And then you can turn that into masculine energy. And then a woman can turn it into feminine energy. But yes. Went on 2 dates with a girl, but not feeling it, but she's a bartender at my favorite place, and I don't want to ruin my bar. Ooh, yeah. I remember you told me about this chick. Yeah. Oof. and she's not hot enough to just smash it. Is she hot enough to just fuck? You could just tell her, be like, hey, you know, to be honest, I'm not really interested, but if you're down for something casual. But if you're really not feeling it, then yeah, I just be very sweet and polite. If she asks you out again, just tell her, be like, hey, I mean, she is. Then just be honest with her. Say, look, I'm very physically attracted to you. But as for something long term, you know, I'm not really feeling it. And I don't know how to tell you that. So if you'd be down for something casual, I could be interested in that. But as for something more, I'm not. But I respect you enough to be honest with you. And I hope that you won't resent me. So let me know how you feel. Be honest. But wait for her to reach out again. Like, make it something that she buys into. Right? Because if she doesn't pursue you anymore, then, but if she starts to text you a lot, then yeah, you should just let her know. Just let her know. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off. I'm pretty tired. I had a coaching call before this, and then, you know, all the people show up at the end of the call. Always happens. No one shows up at the beginning. Oh, well, I'll do it next week again at, I'll try to do it 12 Eastern, not 12:30, because I was a bit late. It's probably my fault. See? I disrespected everyone. So I did stand. Yeah, if you stood her up, then you know, if she reaches out again, then let her know. All right, boys. I'll see you.